Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Young and Making It podcast. I'm your host, Jari Javana. If you are new here, what's up? Hey, welcome to my show. Before I get started, I just want to say, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at Young and Making It Pod. I'm trying to grow my Instagram page and also want to be more engaging and have more content that, talks to you guys. So please make sure to go ahead and do that. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Young and Making It TV, which I post my DIY videos. I have a series right now called Pimp My Home, and it's just showing me doing DIY projects around my home and trying to make it look nice. But in the future, I really do want to kind of shift the focus of that channel, not page, the channel, to focus more on this kind of stuff and really showcase some of you guys also. And I also do want to have video versions of this podcast as well, but we on a budget, and also I don't be looking extra when I'm doing these podcasts, but I will for y'all when I get there. So baby steps. So please make sure to go ahead and follow and do all of those so I can talk to y'all, so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay? So if you are new, this show is for creative entrepreneurs, people who are multi-passionate. Maybe you have a lot of talents and you really never got the chance to really explore those talents because you either are in school, you probably weren't in school, and you've been working, and you're basically just doing stuff to survive, but you're not really feeling like you're meeting your goals. You're not really reaching your purpose. You haven't really focused on making your passions a priority. And I just want to be here to be a listening ear and basically also tell my experiences that hopefully you can relate to, and we can have conversations about what it's like being a creative. And that can be so many different things. There's so many different types of creatives, but I just want to be here so we can have this community basically about supporting each other and making sure that we actually follow through with our passions, because it's very important. And this is all going to tie in with today's topic about being intentional with your goals, especially your passions. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So for today's episode, we're talking about being intentional with our goals, because this is a new year. I know that sometimes we can be way ahead of ourselves or have these huge, gigantic goals when it comes to making our resolutions. But I think it's very important for you to ask yourself why you want to do this, so it can help you stay motivated to continue. Because I feel like oftentimes we make these goals and then we don't even figure out what type of work we need to do in order to reach them. We're just putting it out into the universe, just hoping that it's just going to appear. And people are going to tell you this all the time, that you have to do the work for it to happen. And most of the times, these resolutions don't ever work out. I mean, you literally work out like saying that you want to work out, and you don't actually go to the gym, or you don't do it at home. It's like that. I stopped saying that I'm going to do that, because every time I say that every year, I just don't. And I'd rather just do it just out of the blue, and then I finally get into it. But I just wanted to say that I feel like for the first time in my life, or maybe the second time since I had that revelation I talked about in the first episode, but I feel like I finally understand what I want to do with my life and what I believe is my purpose and what exactly I have to do in order to get there. And I think what is so important about this is finally understanding myself and knowing how to research in order to get to this goal. Now, I know there's a lot of people who will tell you that you don't need to know what your purpose for your life is yet and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I feel like we all want to know what our purpose is, especially if you are a creative person, if you are multi-passionate, multi-talented. We are obviously trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives and how we can make money off of it. Most importantly, off of our passions and our talents. So in that way, I was able to realize this goal and my purpose by really examining my life and understanding my story and what I wish I had the opportunity to do when I was growing up. Especially for me as a creative, I didn't really realize that I was one until someone told me. But basically, to give you like a little backstory, different from the different businesses, the failed ones that I did in the past. But as a child, I had always been surrounded by entrepreneurs and creative people, but I never really understood what it took to keep them motivated. And I also didn't know that regular people could be entrepreneurs. I just thought it was just, the Fortune 500 companies, the big ones that you see on the streets and in plazas and stuff. That's the people that can have businesses. So when my family were doing it, my parents, I was just like, okay, I don't know how y'all doing that, but all right. But speaking of entrepreneur in my family, my mother, she is a very talented chef, where she can taste anyone's food and decipher what ingredients were used in it, how it was prepared. She's also capable of sewing, interior decorating, building things. I think the last thing that we built together, mostly her, she built a trash chute on the side of her house, all by herself. She bought her own wood and stuff, and I just helped sometimes because I was just like, girl, it's hot. I'm not trying to be out here doing this because it was summertime. And she just does so many other things, and it's very special to me because that's what I get it from. I get it from her. But when I was growing up, I used to tell her that I was never going to be like her, but the joke was on me. Now at 24, I'm everything I told my mom I didn't want to be. And I mean, I always knew I was creative, but I thought it was just a natural part of my character. And one day I was hanging out with some friends one night actually, and there were some new people around, and they were trying to get to know us. And one of these guys, he asked me, so who are you? What do you do? Was his question. And at that moment, I didn't know how to answer. Honestly, I was like, in my head, I'm like, a dancer, an artist, a production major. I don't know. It was really baffling to me to come up with an answer because for as long as I can remember, I only defined myself as a dancer. Granted, that's what I was doing when I met him, but there were so many other things that I was doing as well. But it wasn't until another friend answered for me, and she was like, oh, she's a creative designer or something along those lines. And it clicked, and I was like, huh, yeah, I am. I really am. And I didn't even know that I could acknowledge myself as a creative person, because I just thought that was just me. That's what I do. I mean, I DIY for fun. But in that moment is when I really started to own it. And that's when I tried my hands at a lot of different things, as I talked about in my last episode. And if you didn't listen to that, go ahead and listen so you can catch up, so you can figure out what the journey is now. So, but I believe that as an entrepreneur, it is important to not only be happy doing the work you enjoy, but also to use your talents to pay it forward. I don't know if I'm making it seem like creative people are just like, oh, no one can be one. And mind you, there is a lot of opportunity of people being creative, especially on YouTube. But I'm not talking about those people making millions of dollars who probably do nothing, but they just be making money like that. But I'm really trying to focus on those creatives who are stuck in a place of fear when it comes to really being themselves, especially trying to figure out how to monetize themselves and put themselves out there. I think that I have struggled with that a lot, of being afraid of showcasing to my followers me, all the different sides of me. And especially on my personal page, like sometimes recently actually I've been posting more of my DIY projects, and people are like, oh my god, this is so cool, can you build this for me, blah blah blah. And I'm like, nah bruh, I'm not doing nothing for y'all, man, okay? I'm sorry. But it took me a while to even try to do that, and I'm slowly trying to build this like persona of, so that people know for sure that I am a multi-passionate person. And so my Instagram basically is going to reflect that when I figure out how to do that. when I figure out how to do that. But I was just thinking in my head that people are not going to care, or people are not going to buy anything if I tell them or show them this. Even this podcast, me posting it, like, are they going to care? Are they going to listen? And obviously, not everyone that follows you is going to be your target audience. And I'm sure a lot of people that follow me aren't right now. At least the people I know personally aren't. But I mean, it really takes a lot of confidence in yourself to continue, so that you make sure that you are intentional with everything that you do. And I think this is part of why I created this podcast, because I wanted to give a voice and the opportunity to share all the amazing artists and creatives around the world to talk about their journey, both their wins and setbacks of being a creative, especially within the Black community. Oftentimes in our community, it's looked down upon for being a creative person or wanting to pursue a career in something creative, or using your artistic talents or something along those lines, because it's seen as, you're taking the easy routes, and honestly, that's what I was trying to do when I was going to college, okay? So I don't know if I said this before, I probably didn't, but I went to college for television and radio. That was my major, and I got a minor in event management. I took mostly event management classes, and my minor was communications management and design. I honestly still don't know what that means, but I was taking event classes. But anyways, I was always interested in the media industry and understanding the behind the scenes of how things are created, how are shows created, who are the producers, how do directors switch the different screens. Like, there were so many different things behind the scenes that you wouldn't know as a TV watcher, and I was interested in that. But I feel like I wasn't necessarily supported in that decision right away, because I feel like my parents were just like, but why is that the career that you have to choose? And mind you, I have African parents, so they want their children to be the best that they can be and make a lot of money, so you obviously can take care of them. That's what parents want you to do, for you to get rich, and help make their life better and stuff. I mean, obviously I want to do that for them, because that means I'm thankful for everything they have done for me and sacrificed, but I wanted to do it on my own terms. Now, when I was in school, I didn't really take advantage of different opportunities that I did have within my major, and I wish I did, but I think something that held me back kind of was the people. I didn't feel connected with my classmates. I didn't really have many friends, and I was a token amongst all the other Caucasian students in the school, which was fine, because I've grown up going to private school and being surrounded by that all the time. When I was there, I wasn't motivated at all. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any idea of anything I wanted to create when I was there, because I wasn't passionate about anything at that point of time. And now that I'm out is when I'm just thinking about all these cool things that I wish that I would have learned how to do while I was there. And now it's too late, but now I can do it on my own terms and figure it out for myself, which is a great thing. But I wish I tried a little harder when I was there, but it's okay. I got my degree though. But what I was really saying about the Black community is that I feel like oftentimes when we want to do something within the creative, the media industry, and like I said, it seems as if it's the easier way out because they don't really think that it's profitable, but it is. But not everyone is meant for the 9 to 5 life. I know that I'm not. I know that I need to get one because I need money, but that's just not the life that I'm trying to live because I want to be able to do what I want to do. I mean, choosing one career or doing jobs that you feel like you have to do in order to survive just ain't it for everybody, okay? Um, and I feel like as a creative people, I feel like there's an emptiness of not feeling like we're good enough to be successful pursuing our passions because of what other people are spewing onto us as if it's impossible. Now, mind you, I mean, the earlier generations, our parents' generations, probably, that's how they think. And obviously, I mean, the YouTubers making bank, making like $50,000 a week. Like, ain't that crazy? Like, you're making more money than a salary job. But it seems like it's not attainable. And I don't want that to be a story of my life or your life. Like, I want us to be able to really make sure that we can do this. And I'm realizing now that even with my businesses that I still have now, but I think one of my biggest goals for me personally, especially within this sphere of this podcast, I think I will get more satisfaction out of helping other creatives. And I want to help put you guys on, especially now. Like, I know I'm not big. I'm so small. I don't have a huge following. But this is my goal for the future, okay? And it's not even about me just selling products or filling up the floors with orders. And as much as that is appealing to me, because I do have a product-based business right now, I mean, I do want to have that, but that is not really what's going to give me satisfaction, because all that is to me is just an income. And I want to be able to do an income, but also help others to grow their businesses, to grow themselves, and to be able to network with people who are influential to help, give you guys the opportunity to elevate and own your creativity and not be afraid or ashamed of it. And I think creatives, especially if you are introverted, we hold ourselves back because of that fear of what other people might think of you wanting to do something like this, of really, taking your talents and pushing it forward. And I really want to create an environment or a community that challenges the stigma behind creatives, artists, musicians, performers, DIYers, etc. That it is okay to pursue a career in whatever you want. Sometimes it's just the people around you that have to have faith in you, and you have to surround yourselves with people like you that will continue to encourage you. I mean, from my mom to strangers and to myself, I realized that my purpose is beyond my multiple hobbies, but for me to use my experience to help others along the right pathway to be successful with their passions without making the same mistakes as I did with my multiple failed businesses and all these ideas that were confusing me and keeping me off track of what I want to really do with my life. Also, I realized that with all the different businesses I was doing, it was still keeping me broke because my intention was too many different places. But then I realized that that's not how this all works. Like, you really do have to be intentional about everything that you want to have, that you want to attract. And I think that now, as I really reflect on my life, I see that I know that I had been a very, very indecisive person and you could tell that from all the different things I was doing. But me understanding myself now and what I really want to do, I think it's very possible for me to do great things without having to try to force my way into different businesses and see if it's going to work out. Because I realized about myself, I'm going to get bored. And I'm sure a lot of creatives, we get bored easily because we're like, well, this was fun, but let me do something else. And I see that for myself. I really do. I honestly just want to be, the boss woman who comes up with the ideas. She's the creative director of everything, but have other people do it for me because I will get bored. And that's terrible. But I just cannot stick to just doing one thing. It just don't hit for me. Just don't do it. But I know I may be young, but my goal is that in 10, 20, 30 years from now, I want to have mentees that I can say, so that they can say that I inspire them and help them become millionaires by age 30. And I'm saying this right now because I'm trying to manifest it into the universe, onto this podcast. At least I have it somewhere. I'm saying that this is my goal for my life. I want people to do amazing things, and that's going to make me so happy because I helped someone else. And I'm not a coach, I'm not any of these things, but I just want to use my experience, and hopefully as this podcast grows and, as I progress in my life after I graduate, I can finally do what I want to do. My gosh, it's been holding me back a little bit. But I'm going to get that degree. Okay? But I really do want to help other people. But people like me, like you guys, who just need that push. And it has to all start from somewhere. But like I said, I'm trying to manifest it into the universe, okay? So overall, I just encourage you all, if you ever put your passions on the back burner, to really rethink and figure out how you can implement them into your life now. Don't keep waiting for someone else's okay or letting the all the bad in the world to stop you from reaching those goals. So I'm going to end this topic with 4 different tips, I'd say, for staying intentional with your goals to make sure that we can actually get to where you want to go when you are using your passions as leverage to, have a business. And the first step is to do your research and really figure out what it is that you have to do, and figure out if it's something that people actually want, if there is a demand for what you can offer. Figure out how much money it would cost for you to do it, or, how much time you would need, or how much money you would need to be full time with it. Figure out what steps you need to take in order to get to those goals. And if that means you have to learn how to network with more people, you can join Facebook groups to put yourself out there. Then you can do that. I've been doing that recently, and literally all the different things that I'm interested in, I want to see what people are doing. What are they talking about? What are their needs? And I feel like that is a great opportunity for you to figure out what people really want, so that you can figure out how you can help them. And you can be very intentional that way. Number 2 is to write out your goals every day in your phone, in your computer, on a notebook, your journal, whatever it is, keep writing it out. And sometimes I even would record a voice note. Sometimes when you have this amazing idea and you're not close to writing it down or something, just grab your phone, record yourself talking about it so you can remember. Sometimes you can have that idea. Sometimes I get those ideas when I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm like, I need to write this down, or let me record this real quick before I forget, because it's easy to forget this revolutionary idea you may have. But the power in your words can make a huge difference. And trust me, you'll feel better too when they all start to come true, and you're just like, I wrote it down, I was manifesting it, and I made sure I kept on working on it. Number 3 is practice gratitude. Thank God, thank the universe, whatever you believe in, for what you have and the blessings that are in your life in the present day. I think we often focus too much on what's happening in the future that we're not focusing on how we can make our day better now. So practice gratitude and saying thank you and just being grateful for everything that you do have, so you can look back at that moment and you knew that you always stayed humble as your journey progresses. And lastly, learn how to say no. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to set healthy boundaries when you're given new opportunities. And especially like if you are really in the moment and you are writing out your goals, you're working on your business plan. I mean, when you're an entrepreneur, you need to be focusing on your business 24/7, because if you decide to not worry about it, at some points you might forget, you might lose your focus, you might lose your motivation. And sometimes you have to tell people you don't want to go out, okay? Sometimes your friends might ask you to go out somewhere and just like, nah, obviously don't overdo yourself. And keep working. You do still need to do some self-care and have fun. But when you are in a moment of actually focusing on yourself a lot and focusing on your business and stuff, learn to say no. It's okay to say no. Sometimes we take every opportunity that are offered towards us, but it's not really meant for us. So it's okay, because sometimes those other things can sway you from focusing on what you need to do in order for you to be happy and ultimately successful. So that was a mouthful. Almost 30 minutes of me talking about this, but it's very, very important for us to all be very intentional about what we want to do. And I encourage you, even from you listening to this podcast right now, to really think about what it is that you want to do with your future and really focus on how you're going to get there. Because I've been thinking about this for years, but I had no idea what I wanted to do and what I needed to do. And it's becoming more clear every day. So I hope everything that I said has encouraged you as well, for you to get to that point. So we're going to move on to our last segment before I go.
I see with your little business.
Little business? I'm giving BBE, big business energy. Alright guys, so for this last segment, I'm going to shout out to my business, the Branding Playbook. If you are a new business owner and you have a product-based business, I create custom packaging, so custom mailer boxes. I do the design for those. If you have an eyelash company or lip gloss, I can also create boxes for those. And then also I create custom promotional materials. So that's t-shirts, mugs, what else? Tote bags. I have a CEO logo sign, which says CEO and founder. You put your logo on it and then your name, and then you can put it on the wall and you can put it on your desk, whatever you want. I'm really just trying to help new business owners. I'm really trying to help new business owners get their branding together. And there's so many other things that I'm trying to provide, digital products that will help with the whole process of really trying to define what your brand is. And that's going to be a part of the Branding Playbook digital series that will be coming out soon, I guess at some point. I'm starting school, so that might take a little while. But literally, it's a one-stop shop for all your branding needs. I'm not teaching you how to market yourself, but just get your branding out there to make sure that you look good when you're shipping your products, because appearance, first impressions make a huge difference. So if you are interested in any of those things, follow me at the Branding Playbook on Instagram, and also check out the website, thebrandingpb.com, to see what I offer. And you can always hit me up if you have any questions of anything, if you need any help trying to figure out which things you need to do. I also have a branding quiz that you can take when you go on the website to see what you can choose when you go through my website if you're unsure, which is fine. So again, you can follow the Branding Playbook on Instagram for all of your custom branding needs. But if you want to be a guest on the show, please email me at youngandmakingitpod@gmail.com, or you can DM me on the Instagram page at youngandmakingitpod. Please make sure to follow, okay? So I can have some conversations and we can really grow and have a community there. And thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that you guys enjoy hearing more about my story. And the next episode, we'll see what we're going to talk about. So anyways, thank you guys so much again. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.